All right, hello and welcome to Network. My name is Siphumelele Zondi. Tonight we have information on the MTN App of the Year Awards. We also have our last of the Youth in Tech stories. He's busy with a method of teaching drones how to think for themselves. Our discussion is on the new supercomputer by the CSIR. You can find us on SABC Network. That's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Newsnetwork at sabc.co.za and email. Let's start with the technology and social media news. Now, in Nigeria, MTN should be celebrating the free fall of the Naira. The company is now back to usual business after agreeing on the final settlement for its fine in the West African nation. In the last week, MTN also announced its new CEO. Diabo Seto has all the information for us.
MTN Nigeria is building itself again after it announced that it had agreed to pay $1.7 billion as a final settlement. Analyst Bonginkosi Nyanga says that the devaluation of the currency is a boon for MTN.
I think it's a very good thing because remember that MTN has been struggling to repatriate dividends from Nigeria. With the devaluation of the Nigerian Naira, I think it will make it easier for MTN to repatriate dividends from Nigeria. And it will also make it easier for MTN to access liquidity in that particular market, which will be good for doing a business in Nigeria.
The group appointed Rob Shuter as a new CEO following months of upheaval at the company.
For MTN, I think investors have to look at long term and not short term. Short term, yes, we might have all these upheavals, the devaluation of the Naira, but remember that with this devaluation, we're only going to see a very big impact in probably their 2016 numbers. But going forward, the impact would have been lessened, and from the big impact in 2016, the way forward 2017, 2018 into the future will probably, the impact will be very positive compared to what's going to happen in their 2016 numbers.
The Nigerian Naira weakened against the dollar. This comes after the central bank removed its currency peg in an effort to alleviate chronic foreign currency shortages choking growth.
Companies that are doing business in Nigeria that want to repatriate their funds, it was difficult for them to get the money at the official rates, so it affected their ability to be able to transact business as they normally do. So it's been quite difficult. On the last few days, last week, we've seen a reversal of that official policy by the central bank. So they've now introduced a fixed float, what they call a floating rate, a flexible exchange rate that would enable people to be able to access foreign exchange.
MTN plans to increase its capital spending in Nigeria. It will do this to start a fiber network rollout in 6 cities and extend 3G coverage to 90% of the country in 2017.
Now still with MTN, but this time in South Africa. The company is looking for the country's most innovative apps. These will be rewarded in the annual App of the Year Awards. Roundup is the app that received the 2015 App of the Year award. The iOS and Android app allows businesses to know when parcels that need to be delivered and picked up have been dropped off. Now MTN is looking for this year's entries for App of the Year awards.
The App of the Year actually is a platform that we provide for app developers that are coming up with innovative applications that have made a difference, whether it's from a business perspective or from a community development perspective. So it's really a platform to showcase their innovative applications.
Mobile phone applications are increasingly making people's lives easier with just a click of a button.
I'm sure on a daily basis there are a number of applications that you use, whether it's from a banking perspective or with Uber in terms of transportation, or in terms of online purchasing. Now you can actually buy your groceries online, through various supermarkets. So it's the technology in itself, it's a platform. The application is an enabler.
Last year's category winners include DSTV Now and Vula Mobile. The closing date for entries this year is July 8. Winners will be announced on August 4. As we wrap Youth Month, we met up with University of Johannesburg student Kevin Downs. He is developing a method to train drones to think for themselves. He says this can help in search and rescue operations.
My simulation running over here, it was built in Java, and basically each one of these yellow blocks moving through the environment is a drone. So each one of these drones has its separate control system, so its separate brain. And it then has a number of sensors, so it senses the environment. All of these are simulated sensors. So it will sensor the environment, or sense the environment as it progresses, and make decisions based on what it senses. Those behaviors are all evolved. So at the beginning, all of these drones are completely random. They just move through the environment, they collide with objects. That is sort of learning phase. As better and better drones are sort of created, they end up specializing. So in this simulation on the left-hand side, there would be a person in the environment that these drones have to find. And the ones that move closer are better suited to what they're actually trying to do. So instead of the person actually having to sit there and go through everything manually, they could just let a drone loose in an environment and it would then search the environment. So that would decrease sort of human resource costs involved in all of this, because it was meant for a search and rescue environment as well. So if people lost in wilderness environments, these drones would develop their control systems to be able to find that person by themselves. The drones don't just learn by themselves, they share information, and they do that through a simulation of genetics. So with real life drones, it would be very, very difficult to actually get that cooperation between them, where in this space I'm able to have all of the drones constantly working together, and then as the generation ends, new drones are created that are the best of the previous generation. So it's a sort of evolutionary process involved in these drones.
The SABC News YouTube channel becomes one of the most watched channels, and this is one of the top tech stories for the last week.
The SABC Digital News YouTube channel crossed the 50 million views threshold. This officially makes it one of the largest channels in the country, with more than 100,000 subscribers. Now moving over to Brazil. Scientists will have to do without an ally in the race to combat the Zika virus. A supercomputer named Santos Dumont has been partially switched off in the state of Rio de Janeiro due to government spending cuts. Among other projects, it was meant to be genetically mapping the Zika virus.
I can't anticipate how much we will use the supercomputer because it means spending above my budget at the end of the year. That would be irresponsible of me to fall into illegal spending here at our laboratory.
Brazil's Ministry of Science and Technology said it is negotiating extra funds to restore Santos Dumont to full power. Now heading over to South Korea. Seoul Metropolitan Government, which strictly regulates the flight of drones, opened a drone park on Saturday near the Han River to allow people flying the devices freely.
It took a long time and was not easy to get approval from the security department. So in order to meet the increasing demands, we designated and opened a drone park where ordinary citizens are able to freely fly drones.
The park has 160 meters runway for operating radio-controlled aircraft, and up to 30 people are allowed to use the area from 8 in the morning till 4 p.m. local time. About 7,500 people have been signed up for membership of Korea Aero Model Association. Among them, around 80% of the members fly drones as a hobby, according to Kama. Now heading over to Switzerland. Residents and visitors to Sion can now get around parts of the Swiss city in a new type of shuttle, a self-driving one, in what bus company Postbus said was a first for the country.
For the shuttle, as it moves, as soon as it detects something new, that is to say a pedestrian, a cyclist or a stroller, or something similar, it considers it as an unknown obstacle on her route. So it will anticipate. By its detections, it will anticipate and react accordingly, by braking, or if needed, stopping to avoid this kind of obstacle.
The electric vehicles, which have 11 seats and travel at a maximum speed of 20 kilometers an hour, had first been tested on private land.
It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. After the break, we chat to Dr. Happy Sithole from the CSIR about their supercomputer. Stay with us.
Introducing our single malt beer, Carling Blue Label Beer, made from a select single variety of malted barley. With a bold Carling taste. Bold taste, rich reward.
News Today keeps you informed with news locally and around the world.
When Judge John Hlophe challenged the Supreme Court of Appeal when it sent the matter back and said that there must be an inquiry set up.
We unpack business news.
There's an increase in general inflation in the country.
We give you up-to-date news of the day.
The drugs were seized at several locations in Sydney, including a shipping container sent from Hong Kong. Police saying it's the largest haul of illicit drugs in 2 years.
We round up sports news.
Kotata, tell me about the legacy that you would like to build and be remembered for.
Trying to get my foundation running, which is going to focus on, all the sport, doesn't matter disability or able body. So, I'm passionate about sports.
Stay informed every Monday to Friday from 3 to 5:30 p.m. CAT. SABC News.
Welcome back. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Now, the Center for High Performance Computing has been winning awards overseas lately. They also recently launched their supercomputer in Cape Town.
The Center for High Performance Computing launched a new petascale computer machine called Lengao, which means cheetah in Setswana. The unveiling of the fastest computer in Africa took place in Cape Town 2 weeks ago by the Minister of the Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Naledi Pandor. The team that is led by Dr. Happy Sithole, who is the director of the Center for High Performance Computing, then took off to Germany where they competed at the top 500 at the International Supercomputing Conference and were placed at number 121.
It's quite broad, so it is a national facility to the advantage of all users in South Africa. Today we can be proud to call ourselves the biggest HPC facility on the African continent. InfiniBand and the interconnect is, in my opinion, what defines HPC. That is how you enhance or unlock the potential that you can obtain by combining a huge number of cores.
The undergraduate students from the Center for High Performance Computing took the top prize in the International Students Cluster competition, beating out 11 other candidates.
Now joining me in studio to talk about the supercomputers, Dr. Happy Sithole, the director of the Center for High Performance Computing. Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network, sir.
Good evening, Supermalala, and good evening to your viewers.
Maybe if we can start with what a supercomputer actually is.
A supercomputer, always think if we have to start, let's start with a laptop, because I suppose most of the viewers, they have got a laptop or an iPad. So if you look at what you can be able to do with your single laptop, it is not going to be the same as if you've got two laptops. Because then if you've got two laptops, then you can be able to do things faster. So you could imagine if you pack a number of laptops, say 100 to thousands, pack them together, link them with a fast network or what we call interconnect, then that helps you to be able to do things that were taking you ages in a very short space of time.
But I'm sure it's not as simple as that. So what are these things that would have taken
yes,
ages?
I think it's always, if I say pack them, it's not that as simple as just putting together laptops. It is a complicated process where you have to be able to understand how do you link these laptops through the software, and also there is architecture that is coming in. You have to get a design in how these computers will be able to communicate. So all that what brings us to what we call high-performance computing. And the ultimate goal, if you look at this, why do you want to have so many? It's all about competition, about being competitive, being able to get to what you need to get to faster and more accurately.
What is it that high-performance computers can do, like your supercomputer, for example?
There are a lot of things that we can do with supercomputers. I always, if I go back so that I can be able to get most of the viewers to understand what we're talking about, is always we would like South African weather services to give us the predictions about the weather. And for them to do that accurately, there is a lot of factors that they have to bring in, and they can't be able to achieve that with just one computer. So they need supercomputers because they can be able to tell us about the weather more accurately, and it's better planning. So for that, it already impacts on how we do our things. But there are more other complicated issues that we deal with. For an example, in the design, for an example, we would need supercomputers. When we look at things, for an example, in health, also, we use supercomputers in there because there's a lot of data that we have to deal with about the human being. So there is quite a lot that I can go on and on. I'm not sure if your program is going to allow me on that, but there's quite a lot of things that...
If you can just tell us about the time and the work that it took to get to this point.
For South Africa, for us to get to this point, we started off in 2007. And thanks to the investment from the Department of Science and Technology, who are supporting this program, and we started off getting our first supercomputer in 2007. And since then, the department has been supporting the center, and we have grown. And when I say growing in this case, it's not just for the mere fact that we wanted more supercomputers. There become a need from the country. A lot of people from our research community in universities, but also even our industry also starting to take up supercomputing in their production environment. So there's becoming an increasing need of supercomputers.
Yes.
So to get to where we are, we have been driven by the need from our community.
And now, Dr. Stolle, you've just returned from Germany, where there were a few award wins and award nominations. Could you just tell us about what was happening in Germany and what you came back with?
First of all, what was in Germany, it was the International Supercomputing Meeting, which involves all the countries who are involved in supercomputing. So it's normally where we share about the advancement of supercomputing all over the world. And during that conference, there is a ranking of all supercomputers in the world. So the first thing which was good for South Africa is that Lengau, the machine that we just unveiled a couple of weeks ago, was ranked by the top 500 supercomputers in the world, and it came to 121.
Nice.
Which has been a very big achievement for the country.
And the award by the students?
And we also had students who we are building skills to be able to run this supercomputer. And our students from South Africa, which are undergraduate students, won the top prize, gold. So they are the world champions of supercomputers. So it has been very good week for South Africa.
Brilliant work that you're doing there. Dr. Happy Stolle, Director of the Center for High Performance Computing. Thank you very much for being a part of our network tonight.
Thank you, Spumelelo.
All right, now we caught up with Willis Austin Chimano from Kenyan multi-award winning band Sauti Sol. He told us what his favorite technology is.
I want to see the ladies lose control. So turn around.
I'm Chimano from Sauti Sol, and my favorite piece of technology is, I'm a car fanatic, so cars, and just being able to have the screen there and being able to operate it from, for anything in the car, from calling to radio to just anything through voice command.
Usisiwe Jamsana, SABC News, Alice.
Mzwandilembe, SABC News, Doha, Qatar.
Kunatibingwase, SABC News, Alice.
Diaboseto, SABC News, Geneva, Switzerland.
Nampumelelo Siziba, SABC News, Moscow, Russia.
Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.
Craig Murray, SABC News, Stellenbosch.
We bring the news back home. We keep the nation fully informed.
Now, producer Lebusi Jagger got to play with Lenovo's latest laptop, the Lenovo ThinkPad Ultrabook. Here's what she thinks of it.
This is the Lenovo ThinkPad Ultrabook, and I got to test it out. The first thing that caught my eye about this device is its ultra-thin design. Upon holding it, I also realized how light it was in weight, weighing only 1.31 kilograms. At first, I didn't quite get the 180-degree flexing of the monitor until I realized that it's good for a wide viewing angle. I was also impressed with the Ultrabook's battery life that lasted me over 10 hours after extensive use. The ThinkPad's 2560 by 1440 display touchscreen offered sharp images, wide viewing angles, and accurate colors. Overall, I enjoyed using this computer and think it is good for both work and play.
All right, here's what some people have been sharing on social media. South Africans on social media have spent much of their time celebrating DJ Black Coffee's BET win. He became the first South African to win the award in America. He also took to Twitter to thank his countrymen for their support.
It's quite big. It's a big deal for us. I mean, being from Africa and coming all the way to represent our countries,
Others celebrated Caster Semenya's 3 gold medals at the African Championships in Durban. There were those who were celebrating Bafana Bafana's win over Botswana to claim the COSAFA Cup in Namibia. And others celebrated with the Springboks rugby team as they claimed their series against Ireland 2-1. So it was a celebration weekend for South Africans on social media. All right, that's it. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. newsnetwork@sabc.co.za and email. We leave you with BET Award winner Black Coffee's Come With Me. It features MQ. From me and the rest of the network team, have a good one.
Feeling the pain that's lost and scars inside us all.